Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Around the World Today here on Real Terrier Radio Podcast. This is only going to be a short one, a 15-minute episode. I know in the last episode I said we're going to extend for longer, but I just wanted to touch base with you because I've been away for the week for most of the summer doing other things because I'm allowed a summer break from time to time. So you are listening to Around the World Today, and we are talking about those internet trolls. I've been blocked by a couple of internet trolls for actually pointing out fact. So you know when someone posts a lie or a mistruth, I believe that you should call them out on it, because this one was about the First Minister being on, by all accounts, more money than the Prime Minister, when actually, when you look at the crux of it, no, you're quite wrong there. So I called someone out on this. The person didn't like fact. He didn't like figures. He was told by the people who want to abolish the Welsh Assembly and the Welsh Government. I got some news for them here, because the institution of the Welsh Assembly was abolished and has now been reformed as the Welsh Parliament. May have seemed like a name change, however, it wasn't a full abolishment and a reconstitution. But, you know, we won't get away from fact here, will we? So, yes. Isn't it funny that when people don't like that they're getting facts and figures on certain platforms such as social media, they'll block you instead of actually having a debate about this? And because they can't win their debate, and they know they're not winning their debate, that's why they block you. I have a policy, see, that when a troll comes up, that I'll either call them out or I'll block them myself. But I block them after a little argument. When they're starting to make sense, I'll block. When they're starting to make no sense, I will block them. Anyway, isn't it quite a thing that this story, basically the First Minister of Wales, and there was a story on ITV News, Wales, but the First Minister actually getting to see his wife again since lockdown had ended, because she is in the shielding category. So the First Minister has been living in a garden shed, well, a shed out the back, a summer house. Now, unlike the First Minister of Scotland, the First Minister of Northern Ireland and the Prime Minister, the First Minister of Wales doesn't actually have an official residence. So the shed that he has in his back garden was paid for by him, out of his own personal money and his wife's money. It doesn't come out of any government funding. May I remind you that all expenses and money spent to government ministers are a matter of public record. So you can check what they're spending. So, you know, some people seem to forget this. They seem to think, well, it's a gravy train, because people like Nigel Farage are telling them it's a gravy train. Look at the EU. All of their expenses you could actually see for yourself on their website. Do you know what I mean? You can check all of these expenses. But we are told it's a gravy train. It's a gravy train.
Click, listen, enjoy. But
actually, it's no gravy train. You know, like I said, you can actually see all of their expenses online, because once again, they're under British law. All politicians must publish their expenses. All councils, Welsh Assembly, all governments, local government have to publish their expenses. After all, we as taxpayers are the ones who are paying for this. And it is us who get to check if these things are, being executed properly. Sorry, I had a problem with my screen then, on my lovely iPad. But sometimes logic seems to forget people. And I don't know about you guys who are listening to this podcast. Welcome, by the way. If you want to check out more of our stuff, go to realtario.com and you can find out our website. The website isn't that updated on the 27th of 8th because our website is going to be fully operational again from the 1st. So we are just updating. Like I said, I'm in charge of the website and stuff, and I've taken most of this summer off. I've had from July to the end of August off, and it has been the first time in 8 years that I have had a summer. Now, I may have had a summer away from Real Terrio work, but I really haven't had a summer. I'll tell you what I do. Every Wednesday, for the last month, I've been going to something called Brunch Club at my local church. I've been helping to feed the homeless and vulnerable of Swansea. And giving food out. On a Saturday, I've been going to help open my local church, and a couple of other days too, for the public to come in and pray and worship. So I've been giving something back to the people of Swansea. What to me is my duty as a Christian, but not only as a Christian, but it's my duty as a human being. As a citizen of the United Kingdom, as a citizen of Wales, to give something back to my local community in these times of trouble. I just find it quite repulsive that so many people, nationalists, non-nationalists, unionists, are using something such as coronavirus to divide us. It's ridiculous. We're going through a pandemic. At the end of the day, legislation and the law currently states that the Welsh Government control the lockdown measures here in Wales, like they do for the Scottish Government in Scotland and the Northern Irish Government in Northern Ireland. Now, the problem the English have with devolution, in my opinion, is they somehow forgot that at the same time that Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland were offered this devolution, this whole new system, right, of what I would call a federal parliament. I've talked about this before, a federal United Kingdom. England said no. Now, England's problem is that they still think that they can tell the rest of the United Kingdom, so the 3 other member states of the UK, how they should be, how they should act, and how they should be governed. The only problem is, when you are one of the 4, and you are the only one who hasn't taken up devolution, but the other 3 have, is your place actually in the United Kingdom, or is your place really as an independent England? You've got to ask yourselves that, and I believe that it's coming that way. That England should stop trying to control Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, and should be asking themselves, do they actually fit what the United Kingdom has become? Are they actually a part of the UK? Now, London, right, is the head of where the UK is. London has its own assembly, its own mayor, its own government. So, could London leave England and join the United Kingdom and become, this is a whole thing, and we will talk about this over the next month, but this is the intro to this month. We've changed a bit of our podcasts, and I have actually for this podcast. We're now going to have a set topic for each month, and we're going to break it into 30 minutes. So each 30 minutes will be a different part of the topic. And I will start on the beginning of the month with what it's called. And then at the end of the month, the episode, or the full month's episode, will also be put together as one episode and put on YouTube. We're changing the way that we're, giving out our stuff. So bear with us. That's all I wanted to say there. But back to this, because I want to move on. Now, okay, it's all good. No, we're all British. And if you're in Wales, you're Welsh as well. You can have two identities. There's nothing stopping you from being a proud British person and a proud Welsh person. You know, at the end of the day, most of our histories, or all of our histories, are intertwined, are interlinked in some kind of way. I have family who are English, I have family who are Irish, I have descendants from, actually I don't have any from Scotland, but I have descendants from all over the UK except Scotland. But I do have friends who are Scottish, or Scots, and I do know how to say to you. I have a friend from my childhood who could actually do that very well to a Scottish person and do a Scottish accent. And the Scottish person never used to worry. He used to actually help him with his accent. And that was at Sea Cadets when I was a child. But anyway, I digress. So, yeah, it just seems to be that the trolls are out in force to try and break down every barrier that they can. It seems that the UK, or most of the voting public in the United Kingdom, would rather the UK to be where it was 40, 50, 60 years ago, or being dominated by England or by Westminster. But I'm sorry, things move on. If you look 40 years ago, 50 years ago, Westminster used to rule the world. 100 years ago, well, today, they really don't. And coronavirus has actually shown more people in Wales the differences in governmental approach, the differences in approach to handling a natural or a disaster or a plague like this. So I do urge you to go and do some reading before our next topic. You can read some of my own blogs on our website, realterrio.com. You can read some of our information that we have been putting out lately as well. Some of our news about this will also be there. And I just want to also say from everyone at Real Terrio, a very happy birthday to one of our founders, Terry Begley, who is 36 today. Whoa. So I don't have this, so we're going to give him a clap. I now have to turn these sound effects off, but that's for Terry Begley. Now, it's quite weird that even if you look in America, it's the federal system, so the federal government always goes against the state's government. But they never want to abolish the state's government, do they? Anyway, that was my little rant today, and it wasn't long, was it? Because we're coming to an end. And remember, check out our website. Have a lovely day, people. And I will see you back to normal next Wednesday. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Click, listen, enjoy.
Oh, sorry. Wrong one. Yeah, I can't actually get to my thing. So here we go.
If you enjoyed today's show, please head over to iTunes, give us a rating, and leave a review.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.